Good morning, spaceman. This is Captain Collins. Welcome back to Space Operations Delta and another episode of X4 Foundations. In this quick tip today, we're going to talk about how to get sectors for your own faction. Maybe you never heard of it before, that you can take your own sectors, or maybe you are engaging sometimes problems and you don't know why. And we're going to talk about this stuff today. Before we start, a very brief introduction to myself. I'm Captain Collins. I stream from Monday to Thursday at 7 p.m. Central European Time on twitch.tv/Captain Collins. If you like the X4 content and the guide content on this channel, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button on this channel. And if you want to support the channel even more, there is the chance to join the channel with a membership starting at $2.99, and you get access to some cool emotes and of course your first rank. That would be amazing. Thank you so much. For this quick tip, jump into the game and we will have a look not at this cool monitor or not at the raptor in the background or the rattlesnakes, but the map. And there are different colors. By the way, a very quick tip at the start: if you set your filter settings with think filters and you put the show faction colors, it will give you different colors for all the different factions. There you go, already learned something. And from here on, maybe you saw already in my videos that there are sectors which have a green border. And if you click in these sectors with your object list, you will see it is owned by Space Operations Delta. And how do you do this? Well, before you can do this step, a sector has to have no ownership. So like, for example, Heretic's End already starts without an owner, or for example, Silent Witness 12. These are sectors that you can grab just at the start for yourself if you're fast enough and no other faction will get it before you. Basically, in the game, you can take every single sector for yourself. It doesn't matter if it is owned by a faction or if it's owned by Xenon, which normally have these sectors, Matrix 9 and Matrix 451. We took these sectors from the Xenons. So to take a sector, the sector needs to be contested. Let's take as an example in my game Trinity Sanctum 3. So if we click into Trinity Sanctum 3, it is owned by the God Realm of Perinit, but as you can see, this is contested. What that means is there are other stations in this sector which are trying to get ownership of this sector. You start contesting a sector by fighting in this sector and by destroying stations of the owner of the sector. So for example, at the moment, I'm trying to contest these Xenon sectors here. We are joining into the fight with the Xenon. There's a lot going on, as you can see. And if we destroy all the stations in the sector will lose its ownership from the Xenon and will be free to grab by everyone. And here's the point. To get a sector, you need a specific building in a sector, not a specific station, but a specific building. Like for example, at this station here, which is a defense platform, and if we look at the build, there is the thing that will give you the station ownership, and it is an administrative center. That's the first basic step, but sometimes it happens that there is no station anymore from the owning faction, but the system is still under their control and is still contested. Like for example, it happened to me with Sire of Dominion 10. It was still Xenon ownership and it was contested, although all the stations were gone from the Xenon. So what did happen? Well, we had in this sector two different administrative modules, and these two different administrative modules were contesting each other for the sector ownership, and it was not decided who will take the sector. While this happened, the moment the system was contested, the system will not switch over to another ownership before they figured out who's the strongest in this sector. There are a few options you have in this moment. The first one is, of course, destroying the other faction that is contesting your ownership, or is contesting the faction's ownership you want the sector to be. So for you, the way is, if you want to take the sector, you need to destroy all other administrative modules. There is a different way if the AI takes over a sector. The game will give that faction, that sector that has got the most administrative power. And maybe this will take a while until the building plots are gone, and this will take up to 15 to 30 minutes. It depends. So the building plots need to be gone, and then the faction will take over with the highest administrative value. Well, now maybe you're asking yourself, why should I even take sectors for myself? Well, there are a few things that you can now change for these sectors. For example, you have police authority, and you can add and remove illegal wares. So if you maybe don't want to have someone take water into your sector for whatever reasons, well, you can do that. You have the police authority. You can now also send your own ships into police duty in these sectors. That way you can protect your sectors, and that way you can also enforce the laws about illegal wares. And of course, it looks very cool if the system belongs to you, and your own faction will get better and better and better. And for more videos about X4, you can also check the X4 playlist right there. Have a look watching for other videos that will help you. Thank you so much. It's Captain Collins. Goodbye.